Hello everyone. Today we are going to look at the work of Raj Chadha, stock astrologer. So Raj is an Indian astrologer who's based out of San Diego nowadays, and he primarily does stock market astrology, and I've been following his work for many years now. He's pretty good. Today we're going to examine a prediction he made a few years ago regarding the current time period of the stock market, and it's still posted at his website titled Early Warning. And this was published in July of 2020, and I read it back then when it was published, and it pertained to the following years, including this year. And let's see how his prediction did as far as what actually happened with the stock market. So this prediction is based on Jaimini system. Jaimini is one of the last techniques that I learned back some years ago when I was still studying astrology. I found it to be working very well. Jaimini has a Char Dasha sign-based system, and it's a 93-year cycle. So in this case, he draws up a chart for the New York Stock Exchange for 1792, at the time 10:30 a.m. And he does use tropical signs, so be aware, even though he's from India, he has adopted tropical Vedic astrology. And Jaimini Dasha is based on signs rather than planets. So he applies the Jaimini system to the New York Stock Exchange and notes that in 1930 we had a situation that would repeat in 2 to 3 years based on the astrology. And he also mentions the Panic of 1837 in accordance to this 93-year cycle. So Raj has worked out the strengths of the signs for the chart of the New York Stock Exchange. The strengths of the signs are as follows. As per Raj Chadha's calculation, Taurus is the strongest sign, followed by Libra, Sagittarius, Leo, Virgo, Pisces, Aquarius, Gemini, Cancer, Aries, Scorpio, Capricorn being the weakest. Here he states Taurus is the strongest, Capricorn is the weakest sign. So beginning from the date of the founding of the New York Stock Exchange, 1792, we look for Capricorn. Capricorn ran from May 1836 to 1839, which includes the Panic of 1837. Then Capricorn again rears its head on the next cycle in May of 1929 to 1932. And we all know that that was the time of the big drop of the stock market, which coincides with the Great Depression and so on. It's a rather famous event. So we can see that Raj's calculation, and Jaimini's calculation even, seems to be working, and that Capricorn is the worst sign. In the next cycle, the cycle we're in now, Capricorn happened beginning May of 2022 up until 2025. So this is the major cycle. Raj further goes into the sub-cycle. Here's the sub-cycle, the third cycle. So let's see what he writes. He wrote, the first depression in the USA occurred around 1837. The second one from 1830 onwards. Char Dasha at the time of the first panic was Capricorn Scorpio. If we look up to his chart, we see Scorpio is the second worst sign after Capricorn. So Capricorn Scorpio would be the worst period. These are the subcycles of the major cycles. So we look at Capricorn Scorpio. It's the beginning of 1837. Let's see Capricorn Scorpio, 1928 to 1929, and so on. And our current cycle would be, or is, Capricorn Scorpio from November of 2022 till February of 2023. We could expect, or he expected, that the low point will come around these few months. So going back to what he was writing, Chawar Dasha at the time of the first panic was Capricorn Scorpio. And the second panic was also Capricorn Scorpio, 1928-29. The reason is simple. Both the signs are the weakest signs. Based on this, I can safely extrapolate that a similarly difficult period can occur between November 2020 and February 2023. It is essential to note that the dates of occurrence are not exact. There could always be a possibility of plus or minus. So now today we are in August of 2023. We have already gone through this. Basically, we know that 2022 was a terrible year. Most of this year has been okay, but 2022, which began the Capricorn cycle, the major period, and then had in November we had the Capricorn Scorpio. Yeah, it was pretty bad. We look at, I typed in the worst years for stocks 2022, and then, yeah, the news reports that was 2022 was very bad, one of the worst years for stocks by some measure, going back to the Great Depression. And here we have mentions of the worst year since 2008. Here's one says stocks had just had their worst year since the Great, and the same thing. Good riddance 2022. 2022 was the worst year since 1937 by one measure. 2022 was one of the worst years ever for markets. Okay, here's the one. We'll click on it. 2022 has been the worst year for markets in at least 50 years. If we bring up the S&P 500, which is a major indicator of the stock market, we see that beginning of around April, May, here's May, from which the Chawar Dasha period began. So yeah, again, give or take a few months. Yeah, we see that 2022 was a bad year. Look at the year and date, let's see. Yeah, basically, he had, when did he begin? His November, I think November. Capricorn, Scorpio was in November 2022. Take a look at that. There's a low point came a month right before, about a month before. But on the whole, we see that 2022 was pretty bad. You can see more with Bitcoin. Here's Bitcoin, the year 2022. From same thing, it drops. And then that's the year to date. You see it more with Bitcoin, where his date that he gave, November to February, was actually the low point. But yeah, basically his system worked. He continues, this technique predicts not only depressions but also bull markets, bear markets, and crashes within a few months or years. The bull markets of the 1920s occurred in the major period of a strong sign Sagittarius. Another bull market occurred in the major period of Taurus, the strongest sign. The bull market of 82-87 occurred in the major period of Leo. The bull market of the 90s occurred when the major period of Virgo was running. The last bull market of 2009-2019 was in the sign period of Sagittarius. So again, he's referring to the strength of the signs, Sagittarius being a strong sign, Leo, Virgo all being good signs for the New York Stock Exchange. Okay, so he finishes, he wrote in 2020 that the system is close enough to make a reasonable guess that, therefore, a difficult situation in the financial markets of the USA is possible around 2022 to 2023. And we have that. So we're pretty much still in the Capricorn major period. The Capricorn major period will continue until 2025. But if we look at the sub period, and we see that Taurus is the best sign, we can look in the subperiod and following the worst Capricorn Scorpio, the worst one we had beginning February, Capricorn Libra, and then Capricorn Virgo, which we just about almost done running. Virgo, these are all good signs, Libra, Virgo, and then we're going to follow again with Leo. So we would expect a rebound during these periods, the period following Capricorn Scorpio. I think Bitcoin shows a more February. Yeah, it went up, continued all the way through, recovered. You can see more with Bitcoin. The S&P 500 is a composite. From mid-February, it dropped a bit, then started going up. It's gone up all the way since then. Here's the NASDAQ where you can see the pattern again of 2022 beginning the Capricorn major period coinciding with the big drop in the stock market throughout the year, culminating at the end of the year with the Scorpio subperiod. I was going to point out that the good period, Capricorn Taurus, the best subperiod for the Capricorn major period begins actually in May of next year. Capricorn major period will end in May of 2025. So from May of 2024 all the way to May of 2025, we will see a rebound. The whole year should be positive. So May of 2024, that's when you want to get back into the market.